Are you also waiting for real estate market to crash in order to buy a home or investment property? Well, you're not the only one. Recent poll shows that many consumers fear that housing bubble is forming. I want you to know that this market, however, is not the same as it was 15 years ago when the housing market crashed. Here are 4 major reasons why today is not the same as the previous time. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, Miley Kakis with Monument Sotheby's International Realty here in beautiful Howard County, Maryland. And today I would like to talk about 4 simple graphs showing why this is not housing bubble. Number 1, houses are not unaffordable as they were during the housing bubble. The home's price, the buyer's salary, and the mortgage rate available at the moment are all factors in the affordability calculation. According to traditional lending guidelines, a buyer's mortgage payment should not exceed 28% of their gross income. Prices were high, earnings were poor, and mortgage rates were above 6% 15 years ago. Now today, prices are still high, wages, however, have grown, and the mortgage rate, even with the latest surge, is still considerably below 6%. That implies today's average buyer contributes a lower percentage of their monthly income to their mortgage payment than they did in the past. In the newest affordability report by ATTOM Data, Chief Product Officer Todd Tita tackles that very point. He says that average wage earner can still afford a typical home across the US, but the financial comfort zone continues shrinking as home prices keep soaring and mortgage rates tick upward. So affordability isn't as great as it was last year, but it is considerably better than it was during the boom. And here's the graph to illustrate this difference. How did so many homes sell during the housing bubble if costs were so high? So number 2, mortgage requirements were much lax during the golden age. So getting a mortgage was a lot easier during the housing boom than it is right now. Take, for example, the number of mortgages issued by buyers with credit ratings below 620. A credit score of 550 to 619 is considered low according to credit organization. And credit agencies view customers with credit delinquencies, account denials, and minimal credit history as subprime borrowers due to their high credit risk. They say when categorizing people with a score below 620, with a credit score so low, buyers may still get a mortgage, but they're considered riskier borrowers. And this graph depicts the amount of mortgages provided to buyers with credit score of less than 620 during the housing boom, as well as the number issued in 14 years following. The mortgage rules are not the same as they were a few years ago. Purchasers who took out a mortgage in the previous 10 years are far more eligible. So let's look at what this implies in the future. Number 3, the foreclosure situation isn't the same as it was during the crash. The number of homes facing foreclosure after the housing bubble burst is the most visible change, and Federal Reserve releases a report that shows the number of people who have received a fresh foreclosure notice. So here are the numbers at the time of the crash versus today. So forbearance program, which was intended to assist homeowners, suffering uncertainty during the epidemic undoubtedly has an influence on 2020 and 21 statistics. However, just about 800,000 homeowners remain in the program today, and the majority of them will be able to work out a repayment plan with their lenders. Why aren't there as many foreclosures as there used to be? Homeowners nowadays have a lot of equity and they're not in debt. Some homeowners were utilizing their homes as personal ATM machines in the run-up to the housing bubble. Once their equity had grown, many people withdrew it right away. When house values began to plummet, several homeowners found themselves in a negative equity scenario where their mortgage debt was more than their property's worth. Some of those families chose to leave their homes, resulting in a flood of distressed property listings, foreclosures, and short sales that sold at steep discounts, decreasing the value of other properties in the neighborhood. As the latest Homeowner Equity Insight report from CoreLogic explains, not only have equity gains helped homeowners more seamlessly transition out of forbearance and avoid a distressed sale, but they also enabled many to continue building their wealth. So there will be nothing like as many foreclosures as there were during the financial crisis. So what does this imply for the real estate market? Number 4, there is scarcity of homes on the market, not a surplus. A 6-month supply of inventory is required to maintain a typical real estate market. Anything more than that is oversupply and prices will decline as a result. Anything less than that indicates scarcity, which will result in continuing price increases. From 2007 to 2010, there were an excessive number of properties for sales, many of which are short sales and foreclosure, causing values to plummet. Today, there is a scarcity of inventory, which is pushing property prices to continue to rise. Inventory isn't the same as it was before. Prices are growing as a result of robust desire for home ownership, combined with the scarcity of available properties. If you are concerned that we are repeating the mistakes that led to the housing catastrophe, the graphs above provide statistics and insights to make you feel better. If you have any questions regarding real estate or architecture, because remember, your agent is also an architect, please reach out to me at 443-850-9968.